Agnostic.
Christian.
Jewish.
Agnostic.
Muslim.
I'm Mormon. Eastern Orthodox, Christian.
I don't have one.
Catholic. I'm Muslim.
Jewish.
Buddhism.
Jewish.
None. Awesome bat mitzvahs.
Cora? White.
Me.
Turban.
Foreign.
Malcolm X is cool. He was Muslim.
Pakistan.
Muslim. They're very nice. Zionists, liberation.
Palestine.
War.
Desert.
War. City.
PETA.
Osama.
Bad.
Terrorists.
War.
Al-Qaeda. Middle East.
Turban.
Muslim.
Muslims.
What caused me to join MAJIC? Okay. When I grew up in West LA, very sheltered, very white, very Jewish. Well, I go to Temple, Emmanuel, Beverly Hills. It's very white, very Jewish. I wasn't really exposed to other things. In 6th grade, I went to LACES, which is a very, very diverse middle and high school. I saw people of all different kinds. I kind of got exposed to different cultures and different people, and it really opened my eyes to see the rest of the world in a different way. And I thought, why not join a group that kind of promotes this interfaith thing? So why not? And that caused me to join.
Interfaith work is important because we live in a diverse world where there are many different faith communities. And it's important that we understand who our neighbors are and that they understand who we are. It's also important to create bridges and alliances. When everything is wonderful and good in a community, it's nice to have friends. And when there are tensions that exist between communities, it's good to have people that you trust, that you can pick up the phone and call and say, let's find a way to work this out together, so there doesn't have to be a kind of drama about conflicts that might exist between communities.
When we came to America, we joined the Interreligious Council of Southern California, which was basically Christians and Jews. So we asked, where are we? We are closer to each one of you than you are to each other. They listened and we were included. Then other religions were added on. Since then, and hand in hand with the political upheavals, we felt more and more that we need each other. And so the interfaith has been active since then, led by the Islamic Center of Southern California.
I joined MAJIC because I wanted to inspire change, and in the beginning I didn't know much about the Jewish faith. I wasn't very exposed to that religion, and when I found out about the program MAJIC, it's inspiring change and it's informative about both the cultures, so I decided why not collaborate on both, and I can do both of what I want.
Growing up in an all-Jewish school, I quickly recognized the need to eliminate preconceived notions and actually meet with Muslims and establish interfaith relations between the Jews and the Muslims. And by joining MAJIC, I hope to become a leader, an ambassador, and start a process that will open up new doors for the next many years.
I would say the most important thing about interfaith relations are the relationships that are established between the individuals involved in the work. So as a Muslim leader, I had the privilege and opportunity to form tremendous relationships with Christian and Jewish leaders in particular over the years. And one of the things that we've discovered in our working together is that we have much more in common than we have separating us. And we have a lot in common both because of the profession that we're in and just as human beings, but our religions as well really help us or empower us to put things in perspective, to overcome obstacles, and to inspire us to achieve, to reach for our higher self and to work for the common good. I would say doing interfaith work has had an impact on me. I've changed, evolved, grown over the years because of this work. One of the insights that I gain in doing interfaith work is that it helps me see myself and my community in greater focus, almost through the lens or the eyes of someone else from the outside. And so that helps in some ways keep me in check in terms of my rhetoric, my the values that I'm espousing. How does that fit into the global context as opposed to just a narrow parochial point of view? So interfaith work, I think, benefits me personally, has helped me to expand my horizons of understanding myself and my community.
I joined MAJIC because I've always had a negative view of the interfaith world, and I wanted to see everything in a positive light, and I think MAJIC helped me do that.
Okay. I joined MAJIC because my 10th grade year in the Jewish community, you do something called a confirmation class, and I didn't have the opportunity to do that because not enough people joined, and so I didn't really get that fulfilling next step in my Jewish identity. And I was talking to my rabbi, and she suggested MAJIC, and I checked it out, I looked online, and I just decided to apply, like, why not? And it was one of the best decisions I made.
I suppose, you know, the most dramatic encounter that I have had in the realm of interfaith is my relationship with Dr. George Regas, who was the rector, now retired, of All Saints Church in Pasadena. One day in 1967, I went down to Exposition Park to participate in a rally against the war in Vietnam. And there was a young Episcopalian priest there. He was wearing his clerical collar, and he got up to speak. And there were the accents of the South in his voice. And he moved as he spoke. He was a somewhat athletic speaker. And I was really so impressed. And we met. And I learned that he was the rector of the church in Pasadena. And that was the beginning of an interfaith relationship and a friendship that has been a central part of my life as a man, as a rabbi, as a Jew. And I learned something about the meaning of Christian piety. I knew something about Jewish piety, but I learned how the Christian piety, as it came to be expressed and experienced by George Regas, you know, translated itself into trying to live the life of Jesus, which was a life of compassion, of care for the poor, of concern for injustice. And those were precisely the values, you know, that animated my understanding of the Jewish tradition of which I was a part.
He recommended this program to me, so I checked it up online, and I was just so intrigued by it. Muslims and Jews working together. I've never heard of that. I've always been like with my Muslim friends at school. I've been around all types of people at school or in my community anywhere, but I've never actually worked with Jews. So when I was looking through the website and reading that all the accomplishments that they did, the students already that started MAJIC, I was just very intrigued by it, and I was kind of happy because I was like, I want to do this. I want to make a change in my world. I don't want stereotypes to go down in this world about Muslims being terrorists or something. And I know, like, I was never a racist, or I don't know what they call it for Jew or for faiths, but I was never hateful to anyone. So I didn't think that the Jews would be hateful to me in this program. That's why I joined. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna work with these people. I'm gonna make this world a better place. And it also said that we're gonna be studying texts. I was a little bit confused because I didn't think that the Quran and the Torah had anything in common. But when it talked, there was just a brief description, but when it talked about it, I was like, wow, there's a lot in common, which was why I wanted to learn more. Like, it was only a brief description on the website, but it was just amazing. I was very excited to join this program and learn more and become friends with all these amazing people, and I'm just so glad.
Well, the scientists of sociology found that the deepest motivation to people, even those who are not observing religion, but really is religion. So if you get religions to work together positively, to contribute to life, you have good chunk of the problems of the world solved. Especially if we go to religions in their purity, not in their tribal cloak that they are wearing now, but religion of God, that people should worship Him, and part of this worship is to be good to each other and good to life. I think this will be a very positive driving force for a better tomorrow.
So the reason that I joined MAJIC is because a year prior to me entering high school, there was a freshman, and his name was Matthew Mesa, and he ended up committing suicide. It was a devastating loss to our community, and I ended up adding his profile on Facebook because it was just such a shock to our community. So since it was so devastating, his mother took over his account, and she would post statuses up about how she felt as sort of like a way to express her feelings. So I ended up reading one of them, and it was really heart-touching, and it just made me really sad. So I messaged her, and I asked her if there was anything that she needed or anything that she wanted to talk about, and I just wanted to tell her that I'd heard such great things about her son. So a couple of days later, I received a message on my inbox from her saying that there was this Muslim and Jewish twinning event in which Muslims and Jews go to a Shabbat on a Friday night at a synagogue, and the following Sunday, the Muslims and Jews would go for a breakfast at the mosque. So in order to honor her son, I showed up to the synagogue for the Shabbat, and I sat with her and I sat with her parents, and they inducted me into their family for that night, and it was a really great experience for me. So I was able to see the interfaith world, and I was able to see the similarities between these two groups of people that are so depicted as having so much of tension, and I realized that we're not that different. So she and I had been in contact ever since that night, and then later on in last spring, I think, she messaged me again saying there's this organization called MAJIC, and I think you would be a perfect fit to join. So I looked at what the cause was about, and it was just really intriguing, and it took me to a flashback of that night. So I decided to apply, and now I'm here, and that's why I joined MAJIC.
I think that part of the reason interfaith is taking off so much right now is that we're really entering into this stage of a much more openly pluralistic society in the United States in the 21st century, right? All of the demographics point to the fact that we're going to become a minority-majority country in the next few decades, right? Meaning that there will be more minorities than there will be white Christian Americans. And I think that there are different responses to how to engage with that reality. And for some people, it causes a sense of fear and anxiety, and for some people it's a sense of opportunity, that the changing face of America is in fact an opportunity to continue to evolve our national identity and our collective identity. And I think that interfaith is a very important piece of being proactive about creating the type of pluralistic society that we want.
Life-changing. Informative.
Thought-provoking. Groundbreaking.
Revolutionary.
Incomparable.
Captivating.
Community.
Passionate. Enthralling.